Okay, so Darnified UI is back. I mean, to be fair, it never really went anywhere, it's just been on ModDB. But now it's on Nexus as Unofficial Darn UI uploaded by Gopher. This is an update made to the mod by the Tale of Two Wastelands team, fixing a plethora of bugs and coming with support for additional Fallout 3 features that the original mod just didn't have. Having the mod on Nexus though is just way more convenient than the time traveling experience downloading it off of ModDB is. But for those of you who don't know, Darn UI is an overhaul aiming to make the user interface cleaner, and just well better to use on PC with a keyboard and mouse. So you'll notice things such as the HUD being smaller and some quality of life changes like the DPS and damage of weapons being shown at the same time, instead of fading into each other like they did in the vanilla game. This mod is also pretty configurable. It comes with a lot of options in the mod configuration menu, allowing for things such as the displaying of stats like radiation, XP, crit chance, hardcore needs, with there even being an in-game time being visible with the rest of the HUD on the right hand side of the screen. And you can even change the HUD bar, like the HUD and AP bars, instead of, you know, the little lines that are the segmented design they have in the vanilla game. You can change it to be, well, solid, like it is in Fallout 4 and 76. But one of the coolest features is easily the conditional colors you can set. You can also set things like warning colors that will change the color of your health bar when at low HP, and I think this actually looks really nice. I used to use this quite a lot, but yeah, the new font is probably the biggest appeal of this mod outside of the smaller HUD in my opinion. It looks really clean, like kind of feeling like a hybrid of the classic Fallout font and the Monofonto font used by Fallout 3 and New Vegas. The font here is incredibly angular, which just gives New Vegas the vibe that, well, I don't know, it makes the game feel a lot harsher. I know it probably sounds silly that something like a font mod could change the vibe of the game, but when you think about it, this is what everything you're reading is gonna look like. So, I mean, if we replace the font with like Boogaloo, for example, that Fallout Shelter uses in some of its UI, you can see how just the font changing can drastically impact the feeling of a scene. But yeah, I'm sure this is going to be incredibly nostalgic to many of you that have been modding New Vegas for as long as I have. Just being able to run around with this mod again with the convenience of having it on Nexus with one click instead of having to, you know, download it and then dragging it into a mod manager. There is one pretty important caveat to Darn UI, and that is that the mod is incompatible with Vanilla UI Plus and mods that rely on Vanilla UI Plus. With that in mind, some of them you can just adjust to work with the downside smaller fonts in the individual mod configs. For example, things like YSI, although I haven't checked, they probably will need to be configured to work with these smaller fonts, but things like just assorted mods and its loot menu will work perfectly fine out of the box. You do miss out on the hidden dialogue backdrops that VUI does provide when talking to NPCs, so it will be more like the traditional New Vegas dialogue interface with the border and all of that sort of stuff. So instead of that, Darn UI has the NPC text box in the lower half of the screen, so you can see more of the NPC still. This is a pretty welcome change, one that I'm not sure if people are going to be too fond of, especially if you've been using VUI for some time. It might take some getting used to, but it is still pretty nice and it's incredibly condensed.
I find it all very creepy.
The whole HUD is, well, condensed. That's, I think, the simplest way to describe Darn UI. It's a condensed HUD for Fallout New Vegas, and if that's what you're looking for, well, I mean, why not download it?